class. This is my presentation on an ethical dilemma. My name is Lisa Weingart, and I'm going to be talking to you today about a situation that commonly occurred with a friend of mine. She is a therapist and owns her own practice. However, when she was in school and did an internship, she worked at a domestic violence center. She would see women most often come into the facility, most often with their children, when they were experiencing physical abuse. So the situation that I'm going to talk about was a very common theme, and it happened a lot, and she always had to respond situationally. So each situation was different, and she kind of had to use the code of ethics to guide her as to which would be the best outcome and decisions to help the client. So this is the scenario. A woman comes in to the social worker, which was my friend at the time, but I'll just say social worker because it could have been me, or it could be me. A woman comes in to a social worker at a domestic violence treatment facility seeking help. She discloses that she has been physically and emotionally abused by her partner, and this has been going on for years. She's definitely not ready to leave the relationship due to financial independence and, of course, fear of retaliation. She asks the social worker not to report the situation to authorities as she thinks it might escalate. She's only seeking counseling and emotional support at this time. So what do we do? The dilemma. The social worker faced a dilemma in which we would face this too. So respecting the client's autonomy and confidentiality, or reporting the situation to law enforcement, possibly Child Protective Services, to protect the client and her children from this potential harm. This is where the NASW Code of Ethics comes in. The service ethic. The social worker provides needed services while balancing the ethical complexities of the situation, and each situation will have their own different complexities. The dignity and worth of the person. Respecting the client's decision is very important. You're building trust and rapport when you meet someone for the first time. So even though this is difficult, this is a prime example of upholding the client's dignity and confidentiality. Also, the importance of human relationships. Social workers recognize the central importance of human relationships and facilitating change through therapeutic alliance with this client. And I think that one might be the most important because you have to build that trust before they will, give you any more information, and will trust that you are guiding them to the right outcome. There's lots of ethical standards at play. Standard 1.05, cultural competence, social diversity. The social worker needs to kind of understand the roles of these cultures and where they come from to avoid making assumptions. The client's hesitation of leaving their abuser may be influenced by various factors such as their culture, their families, and what they think. Of course, economic constraints, they couldn't afford it. Personal beliefs, they might really want to stay in that relationship and think that there is a way that they can rekindle their relationship and be successful. Another standard is 1.07, privacy and confidentiality, which is a huge one. Social workers should protect the confidentiality of all this information that you're getting from the client, except when the disclosure is necessary to prevent serious, foreseeable, and imminent harm. You really want to keep everything very private. Because one, they're going to trust you, and two, it's against the code of ethics too, to release that information unless there is immediate danger for your client or for others. To apply this, the social worker faces a dilemma between maintaining that confidentiality and reporting the abuse. If there's clear and immediate threat to the woman's safety or to the safety of the children, they must absolutely report the situation. Going back to that, I think another really huge thing is the worker must inform the client of the limits of this confidentiality up front so that they know, yes, I'm going to help you emotionally and support you, but if there comes a time when there is immediate danger, then this is when I'm going to have to automatically go to the authorities, whether you wish for me to or not. Another ethical standard at play is 1.02, self-determination. We want to empower these clients. The social worker respects and promotes the rights of the client to self-determination and assists clients in their efforts to identify and clarify what their personal goals may be in this certain situation. So the social worker is going to uphold the standard by respecting the client's decision not to report the abuse while still providing her with resources and support to the biggest word is empower her to make decisions about her safety and future. You never want to make the decision for them, but maybe guide them as to what their decisions are and the resources that they have available. So there's a couple solutions, different options that we could take. One, we could respect the client's wishes, provide counseling and emotional support without involving law enforcement. Option two, we could report the abuse to law enforcement despite the client's wishes because we know he's abusing her. It's already evident that she's being abused, and we could go against her wishes and report him to the law. Option three, encourage the client to develop a safety plan, which may involve identifying trusted individuals or shelters where she can go in case of immediate danger. This helps respect her decision not to report that abuser. Or option four, we could collaborate with the client to inform her about legal protections like restraining orders, discuss options for safely leaving the relationship, and then involve law enforcement only if she consents or if the risk is heightened. So evaluating all these options. Option one, it really respects the client's autonomy, but may expose her and her children to continued danger, and he could definitely retaliate. Option two, fulfills the social worker's duty to protect vulnerable individuals, but could violate the client's trust and put her at a greater risk. So I don't think that's a good option at all, even though we want to save her. Option three, allows the social worker to provide support and help the client make informed decisions while keeping her safety a priority. It also preserves the therapeutic alliance that you've already established by respecting that client's autonomy. Option four also offers a balanced approach by giving the client the tools and the information needed to make that empowered decision while ensuring safety measures are in place. However, it may still leave the client in a dangerous situation if she chooses to act immediately, where we would get the law enforcement involved. So, making a decision. I'm thinking option three is the most ethical source of action in the short term. It allows for us as a social worker to respect the client's autonomy, all the while ensuring that there are steps in place to protect her in case of an emergency. The social worker, us, or my friend might also opt to document the situation in case reporting becomes necessary later, especially if the risk escalates. Implementing this solution. So we would want to identify safe places to go in case of danger. We want to pack a bag with important documents, medications, and any other essentials that she might need if she has to leave quickly. We want to develop code words or signals with trusted individuals so that they know when she's in danger. We also want to provide information about different legal options, such as that protective order, without pressuring her to necessarily go that route. So we want to evaluate the outcome on the decision that we've made. The social worker, we would want to regularly check in with the client to reassess the safety situation and offer additional resources as needed. The situation could be fluid and could be evolving, so we want to always be checking in to see if our decision is the best at that time, because it could always change. If the situation escalates or if the client's children are deemed to be in immediate danger, the social worker, us, may need to involve the officials. The social worker should document all the steps taken and the client's progress in her decision making. The NASW Code of Ethics guides the final decision always, and the implementation, emphasizing how service and commitment to the client's well-being are balanced perfectly with the confidentiality and with safety. Solving ethical dilemmas should always be rooted in professional standards such as the NASW Code of Ethics. Basing my actions on the standards as opposed to my emotions will be my challenge, but will be necessary to maintain professionalism. Thank you so much for listening about this dilemma. I look forward to hearing yours.